Good morning, my name is Joyce Hernandez. I am currently in the ED5100QM Approved Educators Foundation course, and I am working towards my 7th through 12th certification. Today is April 7, 2025, and I'm doing this assignment interview for this course. So one of the things I really learned in this course is how important lesson plans are. They are the guide, they're the foundation for teachers and students to know what they're going to learn and to make sure how they're going to approach and teach the learning and how to assess the learning and making sure the students understood, because it's important for them to understand the objectives by the end of the year. Some of the main components of lesson planning are objectives or standards. In the case of Texas, they're called the TEKS, the Texas Essential Standards, and they're really important because they're tying every lesson plan. They are the main focus of your lesson plan and make sure every single element, whether that is assessment, activities, small groups, like any portion of your lesson or class, make sure they tie back into the objective, not only to teach the kids, but also the purpose of the learning and making sure the students know that that was the purpose of what they did that day. The third thing would be like the activities, make sure the instructional and the practice are in the lesson plan, because it's not only a type of like a lecture type, but students also need a chance to interact in small groups, in group work with other students in projects. That is also very essential, not only the teacher just saying all the information and for them to have a test at the end. And last but not least, the accommodations. Accommodations are a big part of the lesson plan, especially teachers need to take into account how are they going to teach this material to students with 504 plans, with students with special needs, students with behavior plan, students with disabilities, and for gifted students as well. Make sure they're challenging enough, making sure they're concise enough for them to understand and know how to respond to these lesson plans and understand the material. Another element that is very important are the SEs, also known as the student expectations. These are the foundations of a teacher's instruction, and they're important because they're found in every what's called lesson plan, and students should be able to understand the objective and making sure like the lexicon used and the activities used are at their grade level and understanding. Last but not least is the importance of open education resources. That is really important as a teacher, because it is free from copyright. It is open for everybody to use in the educational field, and that as a future teacher is very important. And I've seen it when I was a student teacher. Materials that are OERs are very important because it helps the teacher facilitate in some activities and not create it from scratch. For example, I know some teachers that they did their whole lesson and they wanted to include the lesson into something fun, especially during testing times where students are a little bit less likely to like listen because they're just stressed, they're tired of taking tests the whole week, but you still have to get some objectives through or like a review part. And one of the teachers said that she had found an OER Jeopardy game that she edited to fit into her lesson plan for that specific subject review that she wanted to do. So she was doing types of essays, if I'm not wrong, like informative, persuasive, and she made that with the OER and combine her lesson with that. So I think it is very important, and as a future teacher myself, things that you can use for your classroom that are free to use without the worry of it's copyrighted material or that you're going to get in trouble for using that material. I also saw during my student teaching years where teachers would share lesson plans. Obviously, they would do some changes. Maybe the Spanish teacher shared it with you, and you are an English teacher, so that is very important. Thank you.